Well, hello there, welcome. Let's talk about quantum leaps. Let's talk about jumping timelines. My name is Stacy. I'm so grateful that you're here on the channel. So, if you are hoping to jump timelines because there is something that you are trying to avoid in this timeline, it's not going to work. If you are trying to solve a problem, like you aren't a fan of what your finances look like, or you aren't a fan of what your relationship looks like, or your home, or whatever it is, if you're trying to fix a problem, it's not going to work. What a quantum leap and a jumping timelines is about allowing yourself to know more of yourself, to allow yourself to be the multidimensional being that you are, which means surrendering a bit and letting go of what is. But more importantly, what I have found, this is the key, the absolute key. If you are interested in jumping timelines or quantum leaps, the first key is to accept where you are fully. And people talk about forgiveness as well, but I think acceptance is actually the first piece of this whole process. Because if you were truly to accept that every potential in the field, this one where you are and all these other potentials which might represent where you want to be, if you were to accept 100% that exactly where you are is perfect and exactly where you are is right in this moment, is perfect for this moment, if you were to accept that this was a choice that you made and you are able to accept the version of you that made that choice, you can go one step further and say, if you are able to then not only accept but forgive the version of yourself that created this, so that you can move on. If you can truly accept all of it, then you are free to go anywhere, my friend. And so acceptance is the first key in all of this. So if there is anything going on that you perceive in your external reality that you are not liking, and that is why you want to jump timelines, there's going to be a component of accepting what that is and accepting you for choosing it. Because if you make yourself wrong for choosing what you chose, you can't make another choice. You just can't. You'll never leave that place until you receive all of the benefit of where you are. So you really have to squeeze all the benefit out of where you are, which means accepting why you're here. And there might be something that you're learning from that and integrating that. And so this looks a lot of ways for a lot of people. There is processes around, somatic releases, around looking at the emotional content of what you're feeling when you look at it, and integrating that into who you are and putting it in a place that feels better. They're receiving the messages from it, accepting those messages, learning from those messages, making a different choice tomorrow. There's lots of different tools that are available. The acceptance is so important. And my favorite way of acceptance is looking in the mirror and talking to myself about it, because you cannot lie to your face. You just can't. My favorite thing to do is to look in the mirror and to say, this is what's happening and this is how I feel about it. And what I would prefer to feel is this thing over here. And to look myself in the eyes and say, I love you. I love you. I love you. And tell myself all the reasons why I love myself for making that choice that I made. And what this unlocks, it's not a linear process. So quantum leaps, quantum jumping timelines is never linear. Reality is not linear. You can jump from any place to any other place instantaneously. And guess what? When you are looking at yourself in the mirror, what you're going to find is that you will be jumping around in time. So you will actually be doing the jumping timelines that I'm talking about, but it's not going to look the way you think it's going to look. So I highly recommend go daily. Look yourself in the mirror every time you pass by the mirror, when you're going to the bathroom, when you're getting ready in the morning, whenever you see a mirror, stop. And there's a difference between looking at your mirror as a false affirmation and hating yourself on the inside and saying to the mirror, "You look great, I love you," and lying to yourself. And you'll know, because you will feel it. And so this is a moment for you to authentically look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself all the reasons you love yourself and be true. So you got to find all those things that you love about yourself in this moment that are absolutely true. And you're going to find you're going to jump between versions of yourself. You're going to jump between a version of yourself in high school that had a thing about the way you looked or something. You're going to jump to, I don't know, a relationship when you made a decision that you wish you wouldn't have made. And you're going to be like, you're going to see it. And you're going to say, oh my gosh, you're going to jump. And you might even, as you're doing this, jump into a version of you that has a higher perspective than you, that has a grander vantage point and is looking at you and loving you no matter what. And you might connect with that version of you. And that's another very powerful way to start to jump some timelines. So I highly recommend a challenge. I did a 88-day challenge where I looked myself in the mirror every day and I authentically told myself what I loved about myself. I allowed myself to shift and change. I accepted everything about that moment and experienced massive changes in my life. And that's for another video. For you, my friend, I highly recommend a quantum challenge, #quantum challenge, 88 days. And if you are very brave and you want to jump timelines really, really fast, I recommend doing this on social media. And you're going to find even more benefit, because the minute that the camera is on, and now it's weird because not only are you looking at yourself, now right now I'm looking at the camera, but I could be looking more at my eyes. Right now I'm looking at the camera. But so for your videos, you're going to look yourself in the eyes and you're going to notice that there's this moment where you sometimes perform for a camera and you're going to catch yourself and you're going to be like, I see that. I noticed that. I just did that. That was not my authentic self. I love that I made that choice in that moment to perform a little bit. That was not my authentic self. And you'll keep coming back again and again to more of what you love about yourself. So when you actually do it on camera and post it to social media, you get a little bit of an extra oomph in there. All right. So I highly recommend 88-day quantum challenge. Post in the comments below. If you're going to do it, say me, and then please tag me on any social media. I'm Stacy Jean Murphy on Instagram, or #quantum challenge. And that will help me see what you're doing as well. All right. I love you. You got this. Have so much fun.